What is going on, everybody? Man, Micah's back with another video. Back here to talk about the iPad Air review 1 week later. Yes, I've had this iPad for now over a week. And how has it been? Especially in comparison to my iPad Pro, how has it been using the M1 enabled 10.9-inch liquid retina display iPad Air been? Or in other words, the M1 iPad Air 5, aka iPad Air 5, aka iPad 5th generation, aka almost the iPad Pro. So before we get into those thoughts and comments, if you guys haven't already, make sure you ignite the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so that when my videos, so that we can sit back, check, see what's cracking. Yes, hit that like button, please. Now, let's enjoy the show. Ooh, pick this bad boy up. Turn that display off. It's got to be clean a little bit. The iPad Air. Wow. It's came a long way in just a short 5 upgrades. Having these magnetic attachments here for the bottom. And one camera. The iPad Pro 11 inches chassis. The Ford speaker grill cutouts, despite only having 2 speakers. And of course, we cannot forget what was long ago the Touch ID embedded power button in the iPad Air. Ooh. Now, see that latency right there is something we're going to talk about in a second. But the first thing, I love to get out the way is what I have been just discussing, which is the hardware. This liquid retina display is nice, but it could have been better. And I think a combination of things, mainly making it OLED. Also, need I say this anymore? If it's not 120 hertz, it's got to hit the dirt. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need something a little bit more than just 60 hertz. We need what I like to call in Apple, you can use this, fluid motion. Meaning, basically 90 hertz. Give us 90 hertz, especially for a tablet such as this, that's 10.9 inches or basically 11 inches. And you have an M1 chip in it. Now, of course, you see it's smooth. Now, I render my videos in 60 frames per second. But as you guys can see here, it could just use a little bit of freshness from that perspective. And that's why we appreciate Samsung a lot of times, right? Because just about every single one of the displays is AMOLED, right? They don't play no games when it comes to the displays because, they're a large TV manufacturer. They have something to prove. And what they've also proved is you can make quality OLED panels at an affordable price. So the iPad mini, the iPad Air, the standard iPad, and along with what will be taking place next year, most likely is the iPad Pro series, need to all jump to that OLED. That will solve the backlighting issues and for the most part, quality display issues. That will solve that. But also then to run up with fluid motion, 90 hertz, right? Or smooth motion, right? Fluid motion sounds a little bit more Apple-y, right? You got Pro Motion because of the Pro reference to the type of mobile device that you're using to compute your everyday activities. But we need fluid motion, something that will bring tremendous value and upside to the display game of their iPads in general. And I think this iPad, the iPad Air specifically, could use that. Now, let's say they want to differentiate a little bit. Okay, the iPad Pro maintains a Pro Motion, the iPad Air gets fluid motion, and the standard iPad on below gets 60 hertz. I can see something like that to justify the price on some of this. Now, I would also say the iPad mini should also get the fluid motion because I think most of us will agree, side note, that the iPad mini should be an iPad Pro mini and not just an iPad mini with some weird jelly scrolling problems. We need that energy here with the iPads. Apple, please, Tim Cook, somebody. Please, Johnny Ive, somebody. Or Jaws, bring that to the iPad, okay? Please. And don't fool us with 4 speaker grills and then only give us 2 speakers. They're good speakers, not as great as the studio quality speakers and 5 studio quality mics that you get on iPad Pro. No. You just get about 2 here with the mics and 2 speakers. Still good, still of quality. And it makes sense for the iPad Air. I'm not even going to be mad at that. Just don't fool us with the speaker grills. Put 1 or, run them parallel at the top or the bottom, preferably at the top because most people hold their tablets like this. So being able to rest your hand and cover a grill, I guess you still could in this case because it'll just direct that energy. I don't know where that, they sound like they're coming out of both speakers, even though there's two. So it might just be a large speaker, two large speakers. Could be the case, but I prefer having the speakers on this side of the tablet because we hold them like this most of the time. And the cap off hardware is just the sheer weight, light as a feather, which moves on air. And that's why it's called the iPad Air. Is that fair? Let me know. Over there. Bars, this is what I'm talking about. Something that you can hold, readily be accessible. And 10.9 inches isn't bad, right? If I didn't have the 12.9, I probably would be a little bit more satisfied with this. Not saying I'm not, but because I have the 12.9 inch Big Beast Pro, that is the iPad Pro, I think to differentiate the use case for me, I needed the mini. I needed that 8.3 inch display. But the 10.9, of course, is fire because it's almost the same. Almost being the key word when it comes to the iPad Air, especially in comparison to the 11-inch iPad Pro. It's the same chassis, albeit lesser display, albeit lesser, smaller, ever so slightly, display. And the last thing to cap off the iPad Air is, drumroll please, the Apple Pencil 2nd generation. Boom, shakalaka. And it's connected. Something you can use, get your scroll on, and really no problem here. And no, it does not scratch your display. Something that I was truthfully weary of because of the tip type. Definitely not like, if you come in focus here, come on. Shema. Well, it doesn't want to. Maybe if I move that out the way. Oh, okay. Well, the tip is not soft like Samsung, so I was definitely worried about using this Apple Pencil with the display, but I have not had no problems. If you want to access, you just got to click. It used to work anyway. Let's see if I can look off camera. No. Oh, maybe that's just with the, let's try this way then. So maybe that just works with the iPad Pro. Well, there's something new you learn there with this as well, is that being able to click the top will not help you bring down your control center or your notification center. You still have to swipe, which is fine, but at least you still get the usability of the Apple Pencil that's rolling away back there with the iPad Air. Next year, 2024, that is, 12.9 inches may be an additional size to this 10.9 inch. That's going to be interesting because it will bring the Air line more in tow with the Pro line of iPads, much like the iPad Air line is with the iPad or the MacBook Pro line. The MacBook Air and the MacBook Pros have differentiating sizes, including a larger size or a mid-size in between the two sizes that Apple offers. I know that sounded a little bit confusing. Here's exactly what I'm talking about. The iPad, oh my goodness, the MacBook Air comes in 13.3 inches and 15 inches, and the MacBook Pro comes in 14 and 16. So you see there's a 15-inch slotted right in there as an iPad, as a MacBook Air, even though it doesn't offer nowhere near as much of the computing power as the Pro line series. Whereas here, this will be 10.9 and 12.9 for the iPad Air, and the iPad Pros will be 11 inch and 13 inches with OLED panels. So keep that in mind going forward if you're looking at possibly getting an iPad Air 5 or soon to be iPad Air 6. There's going to be some improvements and additional sizes, but for this 10.9 inch, been pretty good for the amount of time that I've had it. Software wise, as you guys just see there's some software limitations just with the Apple Pencil alone. And there's some software limitations, I would say, due to the fact that it's iPad OS and not Mac OS or Mac OS Lite or a more sophisticated, robust, mobile workforce powerhouse iPad OS that we need for this iPad Air and iPad Pro line. Apple needs to add additional multitasking features and needs to add additional workflow features, optimizations to the iPad OS experience to really differentiate this from the iPhone, because let's be frank, it's really just a more optimized tablet version of iOS. It's literally that. Like, you could even argue Samsung's folding software and Google's folding software is more robust than iPad OS. And that's kind of a problem considering the type of money you spend on either one. Keep that in mind when it comes to the software. But it is what it is. And with the M1 chip in this beast, it's held back by the software and held back by 60 hertz. It really is. I think that's just really the problem, because for the size, it's not bad, but it's like, if you're going to buy an M1 chip, it's probably clocked a little higher in a MacBook Pro. So you're probably better off just getting a MacBook. Now, unless you want a true mobile experience, or you don't want a keyboard and you just want the display, I mean, I guess, but it is a better probably option to buy an M1 enabled MacBook Pro over this for the computing power that you're going to get. Now, if you get the keyboard with this, it is compatible with the 11-inch iPad Pro's Magic Keyboard. So there you have it for some computing on the go. But again, if you're going to do all that, just spend that kind of money, get the M1 MacBook Pro, because you'll arguably spend, if not less money, the same money for the MacBook Pro. And if you actually want to get a little bit more out of it, then you spend a few $100s more getting additional RAM and or storage. Because let's be clear, this is 256 gigabytes. It's not even like a terabyte or 512. It's 256, and do they offer more than that? 64 or 256. So again, from a storage perspective, 256 is all right, but there's nothing like what you would think you should get for the type of money you're spending on the iPad Air 5. Keep that in mind when considering the iPad Air 5. And last but not least, because we ain't really going to talk about the cameras like that, because I have not used them, nor do a lot of people use tablet cameras. The iPad Pros, of course, from a camera perspective, offer more use if you're editing via Final Cut Pro on the iPad, because it allows you to shoot ProRes with the M1 and or M2 chips, using Final Cut. But cameras, we ain't gonna worry about. They're decent. Let's just say that. They're decent at minimum or decent at best. They're average cameras. All right. But what we are going to talk about. Hold up. I need to. Oh, that's a flash. I was about to start tripping. Like, what happened to my iPad? Battery life. Simply, amazing. A little bit slippery. But amazing battery life out of this. You get quality battery life. Quality standby time. So light. Battery life is amazing. I haven't really thrown anything at it other than stream media and do work. And neither one of them present any problems for battery life. Matter of fact, I haven't charged this, I don't think, in like maybe a full day, or like mid 6-7 o'clock p.m. yesterday, maybe, if not the day before yesterday. And look how much battery I still have on here. What's that, like 60%? 65% to be exact. I had to pick around. 65%. And it's still chugging along with no problems. That's one of the things you're going to definitely get out of iPads is good battery life for the most part. The iPad mini, it's smaller, so it is what it is. But the iPad Air, the iPad Pro, battery life, sophisticated. The iPad Pro, baby. And of course, I use a folio case. I don't have the Magic Keyboard case for it because my use for this doesn't necessarily require it. If anything, I'll just Bluetooth a mechanical keyboard to it to do work on it, because I probably will, have this elevated a little bit higher, so that way it's a little bit more eye level, and to get my typing on with a mouse, and of course the Apple Pencil to support. But for those reasons, I just rock Apple's folio case. The design is a little annoying. I'm so used to other specific types of cases, tablet cases, where when you opened it, it went inwards. So it sat up, so basically it would come forward like that. That's how the keyboard would do. So these ones I have been getting used to, but for what it really uses, for the use case I use it for, which is just protecting my iPad and just presenting it upright when I'm watching stuff, it's fine. It's a perfect little companion to the iPad Air. And those are my thoughts after 1 week of use. Overall, that's how everything has been. The second week, we're probably going to get a little bit more into hardware. Has my mind changed on the hardware? for the second week of use, we're going to see, and that would probably even include me talking about the keyboard. So second week is hardware, third week is software, fourth week or after a month, overall, is everything coming together like apple pie? We're going to find out in over a month. But stay tuned for the content dropping on the channel below. And again, as always, if you guys haven't already, make sure you like the like button, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so we have videos. So you sit back, check, see what's cracking. Again, appreciate y'all support and enjoying the life uploading. Candace has been enjoying getting into the nitty gritty of the tech, learning how to edit and just get used to the tech world. So you guys have been amazing supporting the content there as well. But your man Micah signing out until the next video. Wait.